Well, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Healing with Grace. I'm Marissa Grace. A little while ago, I opened up the conversation around energetic vampires and energetic boundaries. And today we're continuing that series by exploring the first archetype, which was the needy clinger. This is one of the most common energy draining dynamics that empathetic, empathic, sensitive, emotionally available people experience. So at the end of this video, I'm going to also be doing a tarot pull around boundaries, emotional overwhelm, and reclaiming your energy. So the needy clinger is basically someone who is constantly seeking emotional access to you. Now, this can look like repeated messaging, overwhelming emotional dumping, needing that constant reassurance and expecting immediate replies or struggling to respect space and silence. And often these people aren't intentionally malicious. Many are just wounded, lonely, anxious, emotionally dysregulated. But that doesn't change the impact that it has on your nervous system. One of the biggest signs of this dynamic is how your body responds. You may notice, tightness in your chest, dread before opening up the messages, exhaustion after these interactions, and guilt. Guilt when you don't respond, and pressure to emotionally carry someone. So your body often recognizes energetic depletion before your mind even does. And many empaths override these signals because they don't want to hurt people. Sensitive people often attract this dynamic because they're compassionate listeners. But compassion without boundaries comes with self-abandonment. And a lot of empathetic people are conditioned to believe saying no is being selfish. Needing space is rude. Silence means rejection, or that they are responsible for regulating other people's emotions. But healthy connection, that includes reciprocity, respect for space, emotional self-responsibility, and mutual regulation. So the important distinction that I want to say here is, needing support sometimes does not mean someone is an energetic vampire. We all go through difficult periods. The difference is whether someone respects boundaries, whether they take accountability, and whether the relationship feels reciprocal over time. Healthy people can need support, but unhealthy dynamics begin when someone consistently consumes your energy without awareness, without reciprocity, and without respect. So your energy is sacred. You are allowed to take space, not respond immediately, protect your peace, mute conversations, step back from draining dynamics, and choose relationships that feel safe and balanced to you. You don't need to earn rest through exhaustion. Trust me, I know. And you're not responsible for carrying everybody's emotional weight. Today, I want to close with a reading. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards around energetic boundaries, emotional overwhelm, and what the collective may need to hear right now when it comes to reclaiming their energy from draining dynamics. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. I already pre-shuffled, protected the space. Starting out with the Light Seers Tarot, bottom of the deck, you can see 8 of Cups. It's so fitting, walking away from what no longer serves you. Walking away from people-pleasing, walking away from feeling like you have to answer everybody, from feeling, that guilt, that need to answer everybody all the time. I know exactly what this is like. It's something that I've really had to reflect a lot on lately, and actually have stepped away from some even long-term friendships because they are so used to me constantly responding and not upholding my boundaries. And as soon as I decided, this is an energetic drain to continue down this path, and implemented boundaries, people didn't like that. So you might be going through that right now, where you need to walk away with this 8 of Cups. You need to walk away from energies, dynamics, situations that are no longer serving you, that are draining your energy, that are draining your life force. And know that it's okay to choose yourself. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to please everybody. You don't need to say yes to everybody. You don't need to respond to everything. You can walk away from this heavy weight, this draining energy, and choose yourself. Angels, guides, other messages. King of Wands, step into your power. Trust your discernment. Step into your power. Know that if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right for you. And you can be courageous. Lion spirit, be courageous to choose yourself to implement these boundaries. I'm getting an itchy nose. That's confirming. It's confirmation, that it's okay to choose you. It's okay to not please everybody. The King of Wands doesn't please everybody. The King of Wands steps into that power of autonomy, strength, leadership. Being a leader starts with leading yourself. And leaders aren't catering to everybody. They're not appeasing everybody. They choose what's going to, help maximize their energy so that they can live out their purpose, so they can do what is important to them. So step into your power. Anything else for the collective in regards to energetic boundaries, protecting energy, dealing with these needy clingers? Anything else for the collective? You already know the answer. I think sometimes we worry that if we shut somebody out that, we've made the wrong decision, that it's going to come and affect us later. It's going to bite us in the ass later. But draining yourself is preventing opportunities that are more aligned from coming in. So let's see what these last two cards. Okay, we have the Tower and the Five of Cups. So with this Tower energy, let it fall. You do not need to be perceived as this person who says yes to everyone, who answers everybody, who gives everyone your time, your energy, your space. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you end up losing some friendships over this. I went through this recently where I had to cut out a friendship I had for 11 years. And this person was devastated. They're like, I can't believe you cut me out. You could just so easily let me go. And it wasn't easy. It was one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. At the top 5 hard decisions, but they weren't respecting my boundaries. And I think it's just because they weren't used to me implementing boundaries before. They wanted my presence, my time, me to answer, me to hop on a call. And I said I needed some time and space right now. And they just could not respect that. They were saying I was depressed. They were saying this isn't healthy, all these other things, but they weren't listening to my needs for once and respecting what I needed. They were just needy, a needy clinger. And it was tough. It was hard. So I'm telling you this personal story, not because that may be your situation, but just so I can relate how tough it can be to experience this Tower moment of making the decision to choose yourself, to choose your boundaries, to honor your needs. For once in your life, honor your needs. Your body tells you what it needs. You will feel it. You'll feel it in your gut. When you get a message from someone, you're feel this obligation and this pressure to have to answer. It's not a good feeling. It's a horrible feeling. And you know, just because they've been a friend for a long time or just because they've been nice to you does not mean you have to answer them. You don't have to even open the message. You can choose you. So let this Tower fall. New things will blossom out of this. And the confirmation of that Five of Cups, it's don't focus on what you've lost. So maybe you lose some connections, some friendships, or maybe how people have perceived you or you've been perceived. And maybe you are afraid of losing that. But you have these other 2 cups that are full of so much potential and possibilities and healthy energies. When your cups are drained, you have nothing to give to anybody, including yourself. So focus on filling your own cups. Focus on honoring yourself to allow this new energy to come in. Let's just see one final message. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Pentacles, which is so fitting because the 9 of Pentacles is about independence. It's about not relying on other people for validation. You don't need their acceptance. You accept yourself. And with that is prosperity because it's Pentacles. It's rooted in prosperity. Prosperity financially when you have more energy, prosperity in your health when you're not feeling drained, prosperity in meaningful relationships that actually rejuvenate you, where you have that reciprocity. And I'm not just talking romantic, I'm talking friendships, I'm talking work relationships, family, you name it, any relationship, any type of relationship you have in your life. You fill your own cup first. You create your own independence. And those people are cheering you on, rooting you on, and in your corner, as you will be in theirs as long as they're respecting your boundaries as you respect theirs. Underneath that's the sun. And then underneath that's the world. Okay. So the sun. So when you choose yourself, when you walk away from those energies that are draining you, put those boundaries in place and decide, I'm going to choose who I give my energy and time to. I don't need to be nice to everybody. I don't need to please everybody. I don't need to feel obligated to everybody and everything. I can choose myself. I can choose to step into my power and lead myself forward. I can let the tower fall of being a people pleaser, taking on everybody else's problems, or just feeling the need to have to answer to everything and everyone. And just understand to fill my own cups. There's other possibilities out there, like joy, bliss, fulfillment, excitement. Choose the sun, choose the happiness, choose yourself. And with that, we complete a cycle with the world. The world is that completion of all that energy that's been bogging you down. This is what awaits you. The world awaits you. All right, let's get an angel oracle. Bottom of the deck, 2112, new beginning. Hope, new beginning, fresh start, lifestyle purpose, spiritual awakening. This is a call to action to move forward. The sooner you get going, the sooner you will accomplish what you set out to do. Those with patience will eventually reap the rewards of their perseverance. Like, come on, with the sun, new beginning. If you look at the sun, it is a completion card. It's 19, adds up to 10, reduces to 1, new beginning, fresh start. So you have the sun with this new beginning, claim it. The world, 21, 12. Honestly, like, don't be so fearful to live this life. You have everything that you've ever needed within you. Don't be looking outside of yourself for others' validation to say you're a good person, good girl, good boy, approval. You don't need that. Trust in your discernment, trust in yourself. I was told to give one more card, and that was the bottom of the deck here. High vibes. High vibes, 1111. Change, optimism, joy, communication, messages, good news, expression, high vibes. Work with what you have and it will get you places. Count your blessings and acknowledge your dear ones. You will find inspiration and figure out a way forward. You might also be getting some good news soon. So claim this energy. 1111. High vibes. Wishing you the best. Love and light. Take care.